In this nitty-gritty prime time Let's Play live stream, we're going to be playing American Mah Jongg at Mahjong Time. If you've not tried playing at Mahjong Time yet, look for my email in the video description below. I can send you information on their 30-day VIP trial. Today's topic is on game theory, specifically profiling players. Profiling tends to have a negative connotation, but in this case, it's really about knowing your opponents and understanding styles of play. So don't take it negatively. It's a positive because you can use this to your advantage at the table if you interpret the intel you gather correctly. So I think it'll be an interesting session, and I would love to hear your comments. So share in the comment section about what you think on this topic. This is a nitty-gritty format, so we're going to not have any socialization. If you prefer socialization during these live streams, consider joining us on Fridays for Simply Social Let's Play live streams. Thank you, moderators, for helping monitor the chat and keeping it nitty-gritty. Also, I want to say a quick thank you to everyone for watching my videos and for sharing about MAHJLIFE. Let's go ahead and get started with this short presentation, and then we'll do gameplay with commentary, and hopefully we'll be able to do some demonstration on these concepts. These concepts apply mostly to playing online or in person or in competitive settings. Online, we don't have the luxury of seeing our opponents, and that is where a lot of the intel comes from. So let's get into it and we'll talk about it. Incidentally, does anybody here play poker or have played poker in your past? Let me know. Put a 1 in the chat if you have played poker in the past, because we're going to use poker psychology in today's topic. Let me make sure you can hear me and see me, though, before I get started. Can you hear me and see me? 1, Carol has played poker. Awesome. Okay, so we have 1 person who's played poker before. All right, can you hear me okay, Carol? Well, I guess if you're answering the question, then that tells me that you heard me. Okay, all right, well, let's get started. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see, we'll do that one here. Oh, okay. L, I don't know what your name is, but yes, you've played poker before. Okay, good. All right, so here we go. Let's dig into it. Profiling players. You can hear and see fine. All right, very good. Thank you. Played lots of poker. B has played lots of poker. Excellent. Well, this should resonate with you. And Linda. Okay, thank you, Linda. So even if you've not played poker, this might feel a little bit awkward at first, but if you build your skills with raising awareness of observing your opponents at the table, you can gather a lot of intel that can help you make decisions as you develop your own hand. And that intel can give you an advantage at the table if you do it right. So let's talk about it. So the first thing that I want to share is that poker's been studied since the late 70s. And many of the concepts can be adapted and applied to Mahjong. And that's because Mahjong and poker are both mind games. It is a game that requires critical thinking, situational awareness, and social acuity. Both of the games, poker and Mahjong alike. There are other games that use those skills as well, but most poker skills can be adapted and applied to Mahjong. One of those skills would be learning how to identify playing styles. And that's where the poker psychology comes in. Identifying an opponent's player profile can be helpful because each one has characteristics and tendencies that can give insight into how a game may progress. And you can use that information to your advantage. Mahjong, like poker, is a game of observation. Fully reading the table requires both reading hands and identifying playing styles. So if you're not used to this yet, reading hands is where you monitor the exposures and survey the discards to try to figure out what your opponents are playing. That's reading hands. And then identifying playing styles is what we're going to focus on in this short presentation. If you pay attention, you can gather information that can be used to gain a competitive and strategic advantage at the table. So that's the goal. There are two important variables to consider before we talk about how to do this. The first is that a player's personality makes them unique, and their playing style may change as they build their skills. So when you first learn the game, you may have a different playing style than after you've learned how to apply strategies correctly, and also how you play the game yourself, just your skills in decision making. Your style of play can change. Also, a player can change their style of play based on their opponents at the table, the level of experience, and their playing styles. So those things need to be considered. And also the strength of your hand and the strength of your opponent's hands. So if I have a strong hand, I'm probably going to play very assertively, versus if I have a weak hand, I may be more conservative. So it depends on the strength of the hand in some cases. Also, the format of the game can change someone's playing style. If, for example, I'm playing in a social game, I may be a little more relaxed and I may not play as assertively than if I'm playing in a competitive setting. Like if I'm playing with other competitive players, or maybe I'm playing in a tournament. So consider these things as we talk about playing styles. There are distinguishing factors on two spectrums. The first is the flexibility spectrum. This is where you play with either a fixed approach with the game or an adaptive approach to the game. And there can be varying degrees between one and another, between these. So, for example, if you are a person who typically gets their dealt hand and they see a hand right away and they target that particular hand and they gather for that hand, that is a fixed style of play. Then we have people who are adaptive. They have a tendency to just gather tiles and play at the category level, and they don't actually pick a hand until they see something strong develop, or maybe they run out of discards, and then they'll look at the hand level within a category and then maybe pick a hand eventually. So picking a hand is inevitable, but between the deal and that point in time, there are some, the spectrum of playing fixed or adaptive will slide. So think about this, the flexibility spectrum. And then also there's a risk tolerance spectrum. And this has a lot to do with a player's personality and also their skill level and ability to apply tactics correctly with the right timing, as an example. Risk tolerance has to do with whether or not a player is more passive in their decision making versus more assertive in their decision making. So, and there's a scale there as well. And again, consider these based on the people at the table and their skill level, the strength of the hand, and then also the setting. whether it's a social game or a competitive game. So those things, just remember that those all kind of come into play. And then again, a player's personality will also make it a playing style unique. If you put those two spectrums on a quadrant, this is what we're going to see. We have flexibility on the left, and then we have risk tolerance on the bottom. So flexibility, fixed and adaptive, fixed on the bottom, adaptive on the top. And then under above risk tolerance, we have passive and assertive. Passive on the left, assertive on the right. So we're going to place these playing styles in each of these sections of this quadrant, and we'll then talk about each style of play. And just know that you may or may have a fluid style. So you may be in different areas of this quadrant. We're not pegging people into one single quadrant. It can change, but we're going to look at it at a high level before we dig into the detail and look at the nuances. So the first playing style is what I'm going to call a stingray. This would be a player who has a fixed passive playing style. They're someone they're going to pick a hand right away probably, and they're likely going to play conservatively. They're probably not going to claim discards at the beginning, especially if they have to risk losing a joker. This would be fixed passive, a stingray. Then we have what I'm going to call an ORCA. This is a player who has a fixed assertive style of play. So they may pick a hand at the beginning, but they're going to be a little more assertive when it comes to claiming discards. They may be willing to claim a discard to make an exposure with a joker, for example, as a comparison between fixed passive and fixed assertive. So for the fixed playing styles, we have a stingray and an ORCA. Now we're going to talk about the adaptive playing styles. We have a dolphin. A dolphin has an adaptive passive playing style. So they typically will not pick a hand right away. They'll play at the category level, and they'll be a little more conservative when it comes to making exposures or claiming discards to make exposures. Quick expediting of a hand development likely will not happen with a dolphin until they probably commit to a hand. Then they may change their playing style a little bit, but they're more on the conservative side. Then we have the shark. The shark is a player who has an adaptive, assertive playing style. This would be the player who will look at their dealt hand and they'll play at the category level and gather till they run out of discards. And then when they know what hand they're playing and they have no gaps, likely they're going to push to win. And typically they're going to have that low risk tolerance. So they're willing to make an exposure with jokers, for example. So these are the 4 basic playing styles: stingray, ORCA on the fixed side, and then adaptive passive, dolphin, shark on the adaptive side. So does anybody have any questions? Dolphin, shark, stingray, ORCA. Before we dig in, does anybody want to share what they think they are? I tend to be a shark at the table. More times than not, I'm a shark. But sometimes I may play like a dolphin if I'm in a social setting. I do not play fixed at all. So most times I'm a shark, sometimes I'm a dolphin. Okay, so we have Linda as a dolphin, Wes is an ORCA, I'm a shark. I admit it. B is an ORCA, okay. All right, so let's continue now. We're going to look at some of the nuances now. It's okay. You can still play a strategic game if you don't play for money. But anyhow, all right, let's keep going. Okay, so here's some examples of the differences. If you're in the begin game, this is where you're playing. If you look up here to the right, we have a table, a bird's eye view of the table, the second wall in play. This is after the Charleston. In the begin game, considering the flexibility spectrum, we have the Stingray and ORCA. They typically are going to pick a hand from their dealt tiles very early in the game, and then they're going to stick with it. With a dolphin and a shark, they're going to choose category level focus instead of picking an actual hand. They'll play at a higher level, category level, and they won't pick a hand till they run out of discards for that particular category. Another comparison would be in the middle game when the third wall is in play. This is more about risk tolerance now. We have the dolphin and the stingray where they're more passive. So they tend to delay their first exposure to control information, especially if there's a joker involved in that exposure, because they won't want to lose that joker to an opponent. Then we have the assertive players. They tend to claim discards and make those exposures, even if that means losing a joker, so that they can expedite hand development. They play more assertively. So there's an example of middle game risk tolerance. And then we have end game risk tolerance. This is in the fourth wall, the last part of the game. The dolphin and stingray will typically fold earlier than assertive players. They'll break up their hand and discard safely. Versus the assertive players, the shark and the dolphin or the orca, will tend to play to win regardless of risk. And that again has to do with risk tolerance. So does everyone still feel that what they thought, they are kind of putting themselves into a playing style? If this is the way they play, mine's confirmed. I'm definitely a shark at the table. Just think about these last couple of comparisons to confirm where you think you are. Okay, good. All right, so we're going to keep going. Let's look at some of the playing style characteristics and likely tactics and how you can use the information to help you make decisions on your own journey during any given game. With a stingray, they are risk averse, typically non-competitive, and they play in a state of uncertainty. They typically don't know what to anticipate during the game. And so that's one of the reasons why they're more passive, because they want to wait and see what happens before they make a decision. Their likely tactics are that they're going to limit hands. They pick a hand before the Charleston typically, and they stay with it. They're slow to call a discard to make an exposure, and they tend to delay commitment to a hand. They make exposures with jokers when there's minimal exchange potential, and they typically switch to defense early. So the advantages to this playing style is it makes decision-making simple because you have a narrow focus on the hands that you choose to play. Also, it has disadvantages. One is you may miss out on needed tiles. You also have limited switchability because you have limited, when you have a fixed style of play, you typically commit with exposures for a hand, even if there's weakness there or maybe even a gap. So it limits flexibility or switchability. And this playing style has are least likely to win when playing with other players who are maybe more assertive in the game. Maneuvers against them. So if I'm playing at a table with a stingray, if I play assertively, I could have an advantage at the table. And also I can use hand reading to identify that fixed hand based on their exposures and the tiles they discard. And also with that information, I could potentially sabotage them depending, of course, on what hand I'm playing, because I wouldn't want to destroy my own hand. So these are some standards for the fixed passive playing style, the Stingray. We're going to now look at the Dolphin. This is the adaptive passive style, the Dolphin. Their characteristics are also that they're risk averse, non-competitive. They play in a state more of caution, where they're a little more willing to take risks than the Stingray. They're a little more cautious as opposed to uncertain. They typically don't pick a hand until their tiles are, there are tiles out. Let's say they don't pick a hand until there are tiles outside their category. So if they have all keepers, then they might pick a hand. They may delay that pick. They're slow to call for a discard to make the first exposure to commit to a hand. They're also a little quick to call for exposures to expedite hand development after they've already made an exposure. So once they commit, they may expedite after that, because they'll typically be continuing to build the hand if they have strength in their concealed tiles. Also, they'll make exposures with jokers when there is minimal exchange potential. They don't want to lose their jokers typically. And they typically switch to defense early. Okay, let's see. Advantage, they have lots of options because they are more adaptive, and they do have some flexibility because they don't pick a hand right away. There's flexibility there. The disadvantage is that they may miss out on tiles if they let tiles go because of that passivity, where they don't want to call a tile typically until they're more certain that they can develop a hand well. The maneuvers against them are the same as the Stingray. Play assertively, use hand reading, and try to sabotage their hand in the middle game. All right, now we're going to look at the assertive styles of play, the ORCA. The ORCA is risk tolerance. Some ORCA playing styles will be more likely to make exposures even if they don't know what hand they're playing yet. So maybe they haven't picked a hand, but they can, for example, claim a discard to make a pure Kong. They'll do it and then make it work. That would be indicative of an ORCA playing style. They're very competitive, and they play in a state of belief. By, for example, that exposure where they are not quite sure what hand they're playing maybe, but they know they can claim a discard to make an exposure with a pure Kong, they're going to make it work. That's where the belief comes in. Typically, they'll pick a hand in the Charleston or very early in the game, especially if they already made an exposure early. That make it work moment. They may pick a hand then or shortly thereafter. They're quick to call tiles for discard to make exposures to expedite hand development. They make exposures with jokers regardless of joker exchange potential. They play to win if waiting for one tile in the end game. So if they still are, if they're waiting to win in the end game, they may, and they pick a risky discard, they may discard that tile because they play from a state of belief where they feel they're going to win. And so that risk is going to be worth it. So they're a little more assertive. The advantages is their decision-making is simple because of a narrow focus, typically because they're going to pick a hand early. The disadvantages are that they get stuck in the early game if they commit with exposures, and that limits their switchability. The maneuvers against them would be hand reading, middle game sabotage, but also if you fold early and block their hand development, you could keep them from winning. So That would require, of course, you folding early, but it is a maneuver that you can leverage. And also you can look for opportunities to disqualify them, especially if they made exposures where they've left themselves vulnerable. For example, maybe you know they need a pair and they have exposures that point to a particular hand, and you could disqualify them for them because they played assertively and made exposures early, for example. You might be able to catch them in a disqualification. Now let's look at the shark. This is an adaptive assertive. They are risk tolerant, competitive, and they play in a state of confidence. They gather tiles and don't pick a hand till they run out of discards, the tiles outside their category. They're quick to call tiles, to discard, to call for a discard, to make exposures, to expedite hand development, especially if they have a hand with no gaps and few weaknesses. They make exposures with jokers regardless of exchange potential, but that is going to be based on the strength of their hand. They also play to win if they're waiting for one tile in the end game, typically. The advantages is they have lots of options because they're adaptive, and they have great flexibility because typically they already know when they start making exposures what hand they're playing. So if they need to switch, they likely have a plan B for whatever will work with their exposures as they develop the hand. Also, the disadvantage for them, they may get stuck if they commit too early with an exposure. That happens especially if you don't have a plan B. The maneuvers against them are the same as the ORCA: hand reading, middle game sabotage, early fold, and disqualification. Really everybody, a maneuver against any player at the table is both hand reading and middle game sabotage. That applies, that's an umbrella maneuver. Those are umbrella maneuvers. But an early fold to block them is something that you can use, maybe end the game in a wall game until you have a stronger hand to block orcas and sharks from winning, or look for opportunities to disqualify them. Okay, any questions before we talk about the process? And did anybody change their style based on the characteristics and tendencies? And is there anybody who wants to change their playing style? I've been playing for a long time, so I don't, my playing style is fairly stable. I'm a shark most times, but sometimes I play like a dolphin. Okay, so Linda thinks that she's a shark instead. So you thought maybe at the beginning that you were a dolphin, so you think you're more like a shark. Okay, and you would like to be a shark. A shark has the greatest potential to win. Shark has the greatest potential to win. The stingray has the least potential to win with their tactics and decision making, typically. So if you can get yourself to be a shark, you're going to have a higher win rate, typically. And again, it all depends on who you're playing with, though, so keep that in mind. Carol says you'd like to change from a shark. You're often waiting for one tile. Yep, that's part of the game, but and we'll talk about waiting on one tile and what to do. B says she'd rather be a shark, but don't usually gather enough before picking a hand. So you're committing early. It sounds like you have that fixed style of play. Maybe you're more of an ORCA. Do you tend to claim discards early? If you can, do you claim a discard to make an exposure if you can for your hand, even if it's weak? B? I would say you're an ORCA. Let's see, B, did you say you're an ORCA? Let me see. Yeah, B, I think you're right. I would say you said you're an ORCA early on when we started talking about the playing styles, so I think so. But you would, all right, so let's keep going, and then maybe you can see where you can grow and confirm if you like your playing style. There's no right or wrong, but there is good, better, best. So let's talk about the process. And this is the process for identifying your opponents. So now that you kind of have an idea of what your playing style is, let's talk about how to identify your opponent's playing style. So you want to observe them at the table. Now, in a social setting, a drop-in game, or maybe a party atmosphere, you're going to have time to observe your opponents. But if you're playing in a tournament, typically you have only 4 games, and really the first 2 games would be the time when you want to focus on observing your opponents to identify their playing style, so you can leverage the intel in the next 2 games, because you only play 4 games with the same people, and then you move to another table. So the first game, try to identify their style of play. Second game, confirm their style of play. And then the second or the third and fourth game, leverage or maneuver against them if you can, while you still optimize your own winning potential. So observe your opponents, then identify their playing style. Then the third step is to interpret their actions to anticipate how the game will progress. And lastly, adjust your tactics to gain an advantage at the table based on what you've learned. The whole idea with profiling players and knowing your own playing style is this: the smarter you play, the luckier you'll be. And this is a quote by Mark Pilarski. He is a gambling aficionado, a gambling guru, poker guru. Smarter you play, the luckier you'll be. All right, let's play Mahjong, and hopefully I'll be able to talk through some gameplay with commentary, and we'll talk about playing styles while we play. If I see opponents who are acting in a fashion that maybe speaks to a particular playing style, I'll point it out. And I'll also talk about the differences while I'm talking through my own hand development. So I'm going to stop sharing. Luck favors the prepared. Yes, that is true. Okay, so now I'm going to share my screen and we'll play Mahjong at Mahjong Time. Okay, here we go. We're going to use this layout here. All right, we're going to jump on this table right here. Maybe what I could do here is play with different styles. So I think what I'll do is I'll play as a stingray, then I'll play as a dolphin, then I'll play as an orca, and then I'll play as a shark. So you can see the differences. So we're going to play as a stingray. Stingray is fixed passive. So we're going to look at our dealt tiles and we're going to pick a hand right away. As a matter of fact, you know what we could do is I'm going to document the results in a text pad. So each style of play will kind of document the results. So stingray, orca, dolphin, and then shark. We'll kind of see how it goes. All right, let's see what we can play here. Okay, so we have a pair of 7s, 8, 9, 6, 8. Okay, I see a hand right away. 7, 8, 9 mixed suit Kongs. So that's what we're going to focus on. 7, 8, 9 mixed suit Kongs. And we might just keep the 5, 6, 7, 8 just to, because we have tiles we can pass. So I'm thinking 7, 8, 9 mixed suit Kongs here. 7, 8, 9 mixed suit Kongs, third hand down under consecutive run. We're playing like a stingray. Okay, so let's see here. I think I'll let the dragon go with maybe a 4 and a 2. Actually, I think we should break up this 4, 5. Okay, let's do 5 bam with a 4 crack. We still want to pass defensively. We really didn't talk much about defense with these playing styles. the playing styles typically focus on hand development and how they expedite and whether or not they're passive or assertive as they do that. When passing tiles and typically the passive assertive comes through, like the sharks and orcas typically will do riskier passes, whereas dolphins and stingrays tend to be a little more defensive. Okay, so we still don't have any keepers. We're going to pass the east, let's say with a 4 and a 7. 4 and a 7. How about that right there? 4, 7. So again, we're playing as a stingray. We picked a hand. We're going to document the number of discards after the Charleston. Okay, so we got a keeper, 9 cracks. So now we have 2 multiples and a flower, which is good. We have no gaps, so that's a good thing. You can still win games when playing any of these styles, but some have more of an uphill battle than others because of game design, which we can talk about. American Mah Jongg is a game of multiples. That's it in a nutshell. And right now we're leveraging multiples, so we're using the game design to our advantage. Okay, so still no keepers. Let's see, we have 3, 6, 8. I typically don't pass white dragons if I don't have to. Since we have a 2, 4 and cracks, I think it would be good to break those up. And even a 3, let's see here, 8 bam. Let's do 2, 5, 6. Because then we would have one of each suit, 3, 4, 8. Okay, no keepers. North 4 with a 7. Here's a pair though. We're in the latter part of the chart. We only have one more pass after this. Let's see if we can hold that for joker bait. Let's see here. Let's do 8 with a 3. Okay, no keepers. So here we can pass 3, maybe 1, 4, 7. 1, 4, 7. They want 2, so we could do a 1 with a 7. 1 with a 7. Okay, here we go. So if you're just joining us, we're playing like a stingray, fixed passive. We picked a hand, and we have 5 discards and joker bait.
6 dots.
We picked a hand from the beginning. Okay, so here I would let the dragon go.
1
So we're
dot.
playing consecutive run number 3-1.
3 dots.
We have 5 discards with joker bait.
1 dot.
8 dots.
All right, so oh, that was our tile. Here we got a joker, so that'll be helpful.
1 character.
So we got a keeper in there. We'll be able to Kong one of these. Kathleen says my assertiveness profile can be very different deal to deal. Yep. When I have a deal with 2 jokers and well-supported tiles, useful multiples, for example, I'll play very assertive, otherwise not. So, oh, there's another joker. Okay, so let's discard the 6 dot. Yeah, that makes total sense. So you don't need to peg yourself into one of those segments or one of those blocks. You can float depending on the strength of your hand. So
1 dot.
typically I play like a shark no matter what. But unless I'm in a different setting, and that's when I would play more like a dolphin and kind of tone down, because I don't want to blow people out of the water, you know, if I'm in a social setting. So I'll tone down my assertiveness a little bit. I still play to
5
win though.
bamboos.
Okay, so we're going to pass.
West wind.
So we're ready to Kong 2 blocks. If we use the jokers for the 7 or the 9 anyway.
2 bamboos.
We have 3 discards in joker bait still. We want to try to get the joker bait to 60 tiles. That's the sweet spot for joker bait.
Green dragon.
Kong.
You noticed a change in style in Beat the Pro?
2 dots.
What style were you saying? Was I playing
3
like a
dots.
major shark or was I playing like an orca?
3 bamboos.
What did you observe? That's
6
interesting.
bamboos.
I mean, I consider that was a competitive setting because they've got to beat me, and so
2
I want to
dots.
win. That's the whole purpose of that session. So
9 bamboos.
yeah, when I play on
4
Fridays, I might play more like a orca because it's social. I still play to win though. Let's see. Let's let the 7 go.
7 characters.
So
2
we're just
characters.
waiting for our tiles. We can claim 1 or 2. If an 8 dot
bamboos.
goes down, we might need to Kong because that will require us to use 2 jokers later.
9 bamboos.
So we're just, oh, there's our pair. Okay, that came in. 71 tiles remaining.
5 bamboos.
Shouldn't the 4 dot go as you let your tiles go first? Not if it's joker bait. If it's
8
joker, oh yeah,
bamboos.
the 4 dot. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, I should have been throwing the 4 dot. Correct.
White
I
dragon.
think I've been talking, so I haven't been paying attention to the
7
discard. So yes,
characters.
4 dot out of here.
4
It
dots.
looks like no one's playing a year hand anyway. There's already 2 white dragons out and
6
2s are
bamboos.
out. 2 cracks, 2 dots, a 4 crack. Nobody wanted the 4 crack, so that's probably not going to be good joker
6
bait.
bamboos.
We're at 64 tiles.
3 dots.
This is the sweet spot. There's our 8 dot. All right, this is coming
3
in very
bamboos.
nicely. We have 3
5
discards.
characters.
Likely joker bait has no power here because it was discarded recently. No,
7
nobody
characters.
took it. So we're going to let the 4 crack go next.
7 dots. 4 characters.
All right, now 2 3 bams are out. No 3 cracks
4
are out.
bamboos.
2 4 cracks are out.
Pine.
All right. We have a 2 4 6 8 hand across from us. Probably 2 4 6 8 in bams and cracks is my guess.
9 dots.
6 8 crack because they have an 8 bam in front of them and an 8 dot. So they discarded
1 bamboo.
8s. So my guess is they're doing cracks.
7 dots.
There are also no 6s or 8s in cracks out.
1 bamboo.
So my guess is they probably have those in their hand.
2 characters.
Okay, we don't need wins.
East wind.
Now, none of our tiles are out yet, but the 8 dot, of course.
7 bamboos.
Okay, here's our first Kong.
Kong. 4 characters.
We have 2 discards at 50 tiles remaining. We're still in the
3
middle game.
characters.
So even though we picked a hand from the beginning, we drew well and we had a couple of jokers.
White dragon.
So even as a Stingray,
4 dots.
over time, that style of play has a
1
lower win
character.
rate because they're more passive and they typically pick a hand too early.
5 dots.
So if you find that you have a tendency to play
6 dots.
with that playing style, you might want to build your skills and learn some new
4
strategies
bamboos.
to help you play more assertively and adaptively as well. Okay, no 8 cracks are out.
8 characters.
We're at 43 tiles, so we need to start.
Mahjong.
Oh, that was their, yeah, I kind of knew that, but we're still in the middle game. So I don't feel bad about discarding that tile. They were ready early. So good for them. So let's see. I think that was 43 tiles remaining. 2 discards. Through the winning. Even if I were, no matter what style of play I was doing, I would have thrown that tile. With 2-4 in BAMs, I knew they needed 6-8 and cracks, but I didn't think they'd be ready that early. Okay, so let's play again. Now this time we're going to play with an ORCA playing style. This is fixed assertive. Fixed assertive. Oh, let's jump right here. Stingray is fixed passive. Okay, here we go. So we're going to pick a hand right away. All right, we have an 8-dot pair. So we're going to try to leverage that still. We do have a 9 BAM. Here's a 6. Let's see. We do have an East. Let's see if we can maybe get in some wins for like numbers with 8s maybe. And let's see. So let's pass 1, 3, 5. That's a little bit risky though. I think what I would do here is probably let the 9 go. So we're not passing 1, 3, 5. Okay, so here's a North. I'm thinking we play like numbers with 8s and news. And it's a gap hand, but that's okay. That's part of the playing style. They pick a hand right away. We might be able to do 7, 8, 9, though. We can give them a little bit of flexibility here, but probably like numbers with 8s and news. I would imagine an ORCA would try to pick a hand early. So all we need is one other 8 in here. Another 8. Here's a West. Okay, so we're going to break up the 5. We'll pass 1, 6, 5. We need any 8. Well, yeah, any 8 would be awesome. Nope, we got a 7 though. All right, let's do 2. Oh yeah, we want to keep going here. Let's do 7, 2 with a 9. So we're looking for an 8 BAM, 8 crack would be ideal. A South would be nice, I guess. We can use jokers for the gap. Oh, we got wins. Really, these are not going to be too helpful. We have tiles we can pass, though. We're closer to like numbers with 8s, I think, especially because we have no Souths. News with like numbers, we'd need only 1 South. So remember, we're playing like an ORCA, and we got the 8. So I would let these Wests go and the North, keep the 8. So now we can pass 3. All right, like numbers with 8s and news. And we're going to dig in like an ORCA. Play assertively, fixed assertive. We can claim a discard for that 8 dot. We need some help with our 8 crack though. So let's see here. We're playing any like numbers. Number 3. Okay, we have, oh, we're still in the Charleston. So They want 2, so we can do 2. 4, 9 is fine. Okay. Let's see if we get a keeper in here. South would be great. No keepers. So we have 4 discards. Okay, I forgot to mention position. With 5 discards with Joker bait, they were an underdog. Here, we're a contender. Okay, so let's see. 4 discards means you're a contender. There's an option. Okay, so let's let the winds go.
North wind.
And I'll put these notes in the comment or in the video description
4 dots.
for those watching the video if you're interested
5
in the notes.
characters.
Okay, white dragon, we don't, I would let the winds go first.
West wind. Green dragon.
So we're looking for an 8 dot Kong, then we need to build up one of these other 8s.
6 bamboos. Pung.
We're playing like an orca.
9 dots.
This is fixed assertive. So we're
One
going to
dragon.
call if we can. We're going to take risks.
7 characters.
They're more risk tolerant orcas. They're probably
5
the most
bamboos.
risk tolerant.
2
Risk.
dots.
Yes, risk tolerant. Okay, dragon can go.
Red dragon. Four dots. 5 dots. 2 bamboos.
Okay, 4 dot was already out. It's a year tile.
4 dots. 8 characters.
Oh, 8 crack just went down. So I'm going to put that over here at the discards.
Flower.
Now, if an 8 bam goes down, I'll put it back. But right now, I'm earmarking that as a discard
2
because
dots.
we would need a joker. Okay, so let's see. Let's let the 9 go.
9 dots.
There's a 6 bam up for grabs here on the left.
2 characters. Three dots.
Nobody wanted the 3 dots, so I'll let that
West
go.
wind.
I'll let that go. Sorry. Oh, okay, here we go. 3. Oh, shoot.
3
I
dots.
should have let the 4 crack go. That would be a year tile, but we have a white dragon
2
out.
dots.
2 2s, 2 4 dots, 3 4 dots are out. Looks like nobody's 3 2 dots
East
are out.
wind.
It looks like nobody's playing a year hand again.
Red dragon. 4 characters.
Nobody wants the dragon. Looks like nobody wants dragons. Now there's, let's see here, northwest, east, north.
Red dragon.
It looks like nobody is playing winds or dragons
6 bamboos.
in here. Oh shoot, they got a joker.
Five characters. 7 bamboos.
Okay, let's let the dragon go first.
Green
We're
dragon.
at 66 tiles. We're almost in the middle part of the game. We've not made any movement
Red
forward,
dragon.
really. We have an option still.
Green
1 8
dragon.
crack is out. Let's just
7
see what we
dots.
draw. We've got discards here.
9 dots.
We'll let the 8 crack go
6
last
dots.
unless it goes down again.
Pung.
Okay,
1
6 6.
character.
They've got pungs of 6s. They could be playing the 3rd hand down under 3 or 4th hand down
1
under
dot.
3 6 9. They could also be playing the 3rd hand from the bottom under consecutive run. They could be playing
5
like
dots.
numbers with 6s as well. We should probably discard the 6
9
crack next.
characters.
Because if they're playing like numbers with 6s, We do
9
not want to, we
characters.
want to get rid of this.
6 characters.
Hopefully they're not ready to mahjong. Okay. With dragons out,
Flower.
let's see, they have a white dragon in front of them. My guess is they're playing the Quint Chow hand. They could be playing the Quint Chow hand.
7
They would need
dots.
3, 4, 5 in cracks if that's the case.
4
They have a 5
bamboos.
crack in front of them.
5 characters.
Okay. With dragons,
2 bamboos.
I don't think they're playing the like number dragon hand under
4
369.
bamboos.
I'm thinking they're playing like numbers with 6s.
7
So now
bamboos.
we can leverage the joker for that 8 crack, and we're set. So we were
9
set by
bamboos.
47 tiles.
1
Contender, I'd say
character.
we bumped up to front runner at
7
47
characters.
tiles. I'd say we bumped up to front runner. We have 2 discards, and we're set.
White dragon.
Set at 47 tiles remaining.
4 dots. Flower.
Okay, we're going to pass. We still need a south in here, so we are vulnerable.
East wind.
We do have a vulnerability, but we're ready to Kong.
Green dragon. South wind.
That's the second south. We may need to switch
3
to
characters.
4 flowers with all like numbers. I'm going to keep that 8 bam. Because there's, let's see,
4 characters.
that was the second south.
Mahjong.
Okay, so we have a winner. Somebody won by discard, not by us. So that is a loss. Here we had, okay, so now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 dragon here. Over here, like numbers with 6s. Over here, let's see. They might have been trying for 3, 6, 9 with 6s with flowers. Second hand down under 3, 6, 9. Over here, 1, 3, 3, 5. Okay, so now we're going to play as a dolphin. Dolphin is adaptive passive. So we're going to play at the category level. We're not going to pick a hand right away. We're going to gather for a category based on the strength of the hand. And then we're going to be conservative with the pick and discard phase of the game. That would be a dolphin. So this is adaptive passive. Just make a note so people will understand. My notes. Okay, so here we go. Now you'll be able to see the difference in probably the position after the Charleston after this game or with this game, because typically anyone who plays adaptive has a lot more flexibility and can leverage and modify their game plan based on the strength, the developing strength. So here we have 1 win, so I would let that go, and this 1. I see 2 4s, so I'd probably focus on 4s, and then do 3, 4, 5, 6. We won't be using a 9 with a 4. So I'm thinking maybe like numbers with 4s, some kind of a 3, 4, 5 hand. So let's see what happens here. There's a 4 crack and a dragon. We have a wind. We could pass the 1 and the 8, let's say. So it looks like a like number hand here to me. Like numbers with 4s and dragons. I would say. We have no gaps for like numbers with 4s and dragons. That would be the second hand down. Even though we are adaptive, the hand might develop so quickly that we pick a hand early. We're still targeting the strength of the hand. Okay, so no keepers here. And I think that we could maybe pass a 6 in there, so we're not passing all odds. Okay. Let's see. Pardon me. No keepers here. There is some consecutive in here. 2, 3, 4. We definitely want to keep going. We have 2, 3, 4. I would not give up my 4s. We have 2, 3, 4, 4. We have this pair of dragons though. I would play something with the dragon. I would focus on the dragon and probably the 4s. Like numbers with 4s because there's no gaps. There was 2, 3, 4 crack with that red dragon, but we have a gap, no 1 or no 5 for the 5th hand down under consecutive run. And then it trickled in, but here's our first multiple with the 4 dot. 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 6 can go. I would let the 5s go too and focus on 4 like numbers with 4s and dragons. We have a hand here with no gaps, so that's what I would focus on as an we're doing orca. No, dolphin. This is dolphin. Okay, now there's a 5. I would break. Oh, you know what? We've got like numbers. We're passing to the right. I would not pass like numbers here. Even as a dolphin, people typically, well, passing defense, I'm passing the way I play. So playing styles, it's really more about personality for the level of defense that you have, and it's a personal choice. Some people don't care about defense. I do. So you'll see that even though I'm trying to play different styles, I'm still going to pass defensively. Okay, so we're going to pass 3. I think I would do 1, 8, 5. All right, so now it looks like we're going to have 5 discards. 5 discards.
5 characters.
So that means that we are an underdog. We're an underdog on this one. Even though we played with an adaptive style, that's not a guarantee that you're going to have a good outcome after the Charleston, because you just never know what the passing is going to be like. Okay, so we might be able to use the north if news comes in. Let's let the 7s go.
7 dots.
Okay, let's see here.
White dragon.
Nope, I would not. Let's see. We actually have a hand with no gaps, but that's the first one. A dolphin would wait. We want to see if we can draw that white dragon.
8 characters. 7 bamboos.
Okay, so let's let the 7 crack go.
7 characters. 5 dots. White dragon.
Okay, that's the second one. I would pung because we have a hand with no gaps. Okay, so here we go. 3 dot is out of here. We're playing like numbers with dragons.
2 characters.
So this goes here.
Flower.
So we need to Kong the 4 band. And this north
East
can
wind.
go. Oh, there's Joker bait right there.
North wind. 1 dot. Five characters.
Okay.
8 dots.
All right, we need 4 band.
9 characters. East wind. 9 bamboos.
I'm just taking notes on this process so that people can see the documentation of the results, the outcome. Because I think these concepts are provable. So let's see here. I would say we could bump up to front contender here because we have Joker bait. So let's say 80 tiles remaining. Contender, because we have 1 discard with Joker bait, or 2.
Wind.
Sorry, we have 2 discards with Joker bait because we don't need the flower. Speaking of which, we
7
probably, I'm
characters.
going to separate these with the dragon. I think
4
that
dots.
flower should go next. That's a pair for us, so we're okay there. Let's see.
1 bamboo.
2 discards with Joker bait. Okay,
2
so it's 60
characters.
tiles remaining. We want to try to let the 2 bam go.
2 characters.
It looks like nobody wants flowers. The 2 flowers are discarded there.
2 dots.
So we have a hand with no gaps here.
2 dots. 7 bamboos.
2 dot, okay. Oh, I
2
briefly had a
dots.
thought, oh, let's switch to a year hand, but we already
3
committed with
characters.
that dragon. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Any like numbers,
Flower.
number 3. All right.
7 bamboos.
We need a keeper in here.
1
We
character.
probably should let this flower go.
Three dots. Three dots. Red dragon.
That we need to pung, and I would. Let's see. At 63 tiles, we already have 1 exposure here, so I would, as a dolphin, I would think they
8
would
dots.
expedite. We have a hand with no gaps. We do have a weakness
7
with our
dots.
4, though. So this might be an early fold.
1 character.
We'll see. We have a discard here. We need to swap this out.
3 dots.
Let's let that go first.
Flower. 9 dots.
Okay.
9 dots.
So we need a 4 crack. That would be the ideal pick at the moment.
North wind.
The challenge at the moment here with this game is there are no other exposures.
South
So
wind.
one of the beauties of American Mah Jongg is that you can
8 dots.
use jokers, and those jokers can be obtained by doing
8
exchanges in these exposures. But with nobody else with exposures, it kind of limits your ability to get those jokers. So like this 2 bam,
Green dragon.
we need to let this go now. Let's let that go now.
2 bamboos.
Okay, there's a hesitation. Nope. So we need to let that go next since nobody took it.
1 character.
This 4 crack is our vulnerability right now. That needs to be a
7
pair.
characters. Green dragon.
Okay, we got a 4 bam, which is good.
2 bamboos.
At 47 tiles, we have 3 discards. We still have a vulnerability here. So I would not bump up.
4 dots.
That's a pair for us. I would not change our position. I'd say we're still in underdog until we get this
2
pair.
bamboos.
There are no 4 cracks out yet. So somebody might be playing with them and we
7
may not get
bamboos.
our pair. So I would say we're still in underdog.
1 character. 6 bamboos.
Now, if we get a joker or a 4 bam or do a joker, no. Yeah, there's still 1 more white dragon. If we can get a joker or a 4
2
bam,
bamboos.
then I would say we could bump up to probably contender
North wind.
until we get that 4 crack.
2 characters.
So we're at 38
9
tiles. We're in the
bamboos.
end game now. Oh, we're a contender. I put us at contender. We can stay at contender. We're at,
9
let's see
dots.
here. It was 43 tiles,
9
I believe.
bamboos.
We picked a keeper. So we had 3 discards, or yeah, 3 discards here. Let's see, 2 discards.
9 characters.
2 discards. Oops.
Kong.
Okay,
East wind.
because we got a keeper. Okay, let's see now. 9 dot, 3 are out. 7 crack, 3 are out. 5 dot, 1 is out.
5 dots.
Okay, so we're in the end game. As a dolphin, we would
8
likely
bamboos.
fold early. This 4 crack, it's going to be in one of these other 2 hands here.
7 dots.
Because the player on the left is playing with 9s.
3
That 7
characters.
dot came out of the inside of the hand. Let's see here. I'm trying to
1 dot.
determine where that 4 crack could be. We've got 2, 3, 5 here. 2, 3, 5. We have 8s, no
4
6s.
bamboos.
They just threw a 4. We're not ready for it. We're going to pass. We need to Kong that.
3 characters.
But we could use jokers. We still have,
9 bamboos.
let's see,
3
4 picks.
bamboos.
No, 8 picks left. 6 times 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 6 times
1
4.
dragon.
24. Okay, they got our joker. Darn. There's still, let's see, is this available? No. So there's no jokers up for grabs right now.
Joker.
Now, that was a red flag. They made a pung. They
Red
did a pung
dragon.
here, and they discarded a joker. 3 bam pung.
Green dragon.
They could be playing 3, 6, 9 with a single tile. They have a 3 crack in front of them.
West wind.
They have 6, 9 in front of them. 3 dot in front of them. So probably not.
Kong.
3 bam pung. They threw a joker. They could be playing little odds with dragons. Second hand from the bottom, needing 1, 3 in
1 dot.
either cracks. Nope, 1 cracks are all out. 1 dot. They can't
8
be doing.
characters.
They absolutely cannot be doing little odds with dragons because the 1s and 3s are out in their offsuit. So with a 3 bam pung, okay, 6 crack, none are out. I say we switch to defense. This 6 crack is going to be risky.
7 characters.
They could be doing
4
3, 6,
characters.
9 in cracks, waiting on a pair. The 6 crack. Are there any 9 bams out? Let's see. No, 3, 6, 9 in
8
dots.
characters.
3, 6, 9 in cracks right there. 9 crack right there.
North wind.
This will be interesting. A joker. We got a
9
joker.
dots.
We're 1 away from ready now. I would love for someone to discard a 6 crack. They got to win. They are playing little odds. They needed a flower. Okay, so we have a loss. Okay, so now, oh, little odds with their flower. That's why they discarded the joker. They probably would have been better off to discard a natural tile because they weren't going to get a pure hand. So if they had discarded a 5 bam and kept the joker, they could have been a little more discreet. So that's something to consider. If you know you can't get to a pure hand, discard a natural tile instead of a joker. Here we have east and west with a run. Maybe they're trying for a quint. I don't know. Over here, 3-6-9. Here's the 3-6-9 hand. Okay, so now we're going to play like a shark. All right. Let's see. We're going to play adaptive assertive. Adaptive assertive. So hopefully we won't have to wait too long. Does anybody have any questions about playing styles? Let's see here. We have another person at a different table. Hopefully they'll join us. Sometimes what I'll do, oh, here we go. Shark is Michelle in her natural state. Yes. Oh, thank you, Kathleen. It's been fun to watch Michelle try to play like she's someone she is not. It is hard, like not picking or playing adaptive. It's hard for me to pick a hand right away. And I always see where there can be some flexibility. Okay, so hopefully this person will join our table here. Here we go. All right, we're going to play like a shark. Adaptive assertive. A lot of it has to do also with your starting lineup. So here we have a wide spread. So we're going to be at a disadvantage until we get a multiple. So I think here we have like numbers with 3s, like numbers with 8s. We have 6, 7, 8, 9, or 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5, 6 is in the more efficiency range. So I think I would focus on 3, 4, 5, 6. I would probably hold the wins because we're halfway to news. And then I would pass probably 8, 9 dragon. So let's just wait and see. We've got 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe like numbers with the news. I don't know why, but like numbers keeps showing up. Here's 3, 4, 5. There's a south. We have 3 tiles to pass, so we don't have to pick a hand. We could still maybe do like numbers with 3s or 5s. We're waiting for a multiple to give us an indicator on our direction. We're playing adaptive, adaptive, assertive. Okay, we have another 4. So now we have like numbers with 4s in here. Oops. Okay, so we do have some little odd potential in here. 1, 3, 5. And I think what I would do, let's see, we have 3, 4, 5, 6, no gaps. Like numbers with 4, we've got to be able to pass. 3, 4, 5, 6. Like numbers with 3s or 5s. I think I would let the 4 dot go with the 1 bam and that 9. 3, 4, 5, 6 or like numbers. All right, we have a west. So now we have news. I would leverage that. That is equivalent to a Kong. So we want to leverage that. We have news and we have 5s. All 5s there. We have 3s. We might be able to do 3s. And we have tiles we can pass. We want to keep going. That's funny because in each of these styles, 4 playing styles, we played like numbers with 3 of them. That's weird. Like numbers number 3. Oh gosh. We played like numbers number 3. Oh no, we played like numbers number 2 with the last hand. So let me fix that real quick. Okay, there's our first multiple. So like numbers with 5s, it is. So now let's do 1 8 with a 3 bam. Like numbers with 5s and news. Okay, so there's a west. I would just hold it. We have 3 tiles to pass. We could maybe play that 4th hand down under wins. Or 5th hand, yeah, 4th hand down under wins. So we have an extra west. We have a option. Oh, there's a 5. All right. So now we can let the west go. We can pass fully here. They only want 2. I would pass a 1 with a 4. We might have been able to mitigate that risk a little bit by passing a west, but that's okay. All right. So we have 4 discards. We are a contender. Post-Charleston,
1 bamboo.
4 discards, no gaps. So we're a contender. With 4 discards, we're a
1
contender.
bamboo.
Okay, so let's let the west go. No, that's an option. We got to play adaptive here. Let's let the 1 dot go. This
1 dot.
Joe says, hi, Joe, by the way, this year's card has made like numbers too easy. They get
4
played
bamboos.
constantly. Yep, they're all over the card. Almost half the hands on the card use like numbers. That's pretty consistent, though, in my years of doing that new card analysis. Like numbers is all over the
2
card.
bamboos. 1 dot.
Almost be around, I would say the average of 45% of the hands on the card will use like numbers from year to year.
9
Average.
characters.
I think this year it's 44.
South wind.
44. I could be wrong. I forget. All right, so we can't call anything, and we still need a pair of flowers. So we need a flower.
8 characters.
But if we get these 5s built up, I would
3
Kong because we have no gaps with this hand.
9 bamboos.
Oh, the like number category specifically. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah,
1 character.
well, I think it depends too on who you play with because a lot
8
of
characters.
people pass like numbers.
North
I was
wind.
playing earlier today and I was holding 8s and wins and I got wins and 8s. I played like numbers with news. I don't remember what the outcome was, but
4 characters.
it fit right into my hand. So passing like numbers is
Wise dragon.
almost as risky as passing a pair.
Flower.
Oh, there's a hesitation on the flower. Oh, we got a 5. All right, now
9
we're ready to
characters.
Kong at least one of these.
2 characters.
Even with needing a pair, I would Kong. A shark would do that.
White
That's where
dragon.
that assertive
8 characters.
tendency comes in.
2 dots.
So we have 3 discards at 76 tiles. I would say we can bump up to front runner now that we got that keeper. So at 76
4 bamboos.
remaining. So front runner.
2 dots.
That's not a guarantee. Okay, now we have our flower. I would say we're front runner confirmed because now
7
we can
dots.
use jokers. Any number of jokers will get us there. We only have 2 discards at 72 tiles. I'll just change
4
that. 72
characters.
tiles, 72 tiles, 2 discards.
7 bamboos. 2 bamboos.
Oops, I put that in the wrong place here. Okay,
4
now
bamboos.
if we get
1 character.
if we get another flower,
7 bamboos.
I would consider playing the
7
no, I
dots.
wouldn't. We have news. I would not consider breaking that up.
3 dots.
Yes, I think Sambino is an orca. He tends to pick a hand early, and he does pass risky. He is not.
Dragon.
He has risk tolerant. He's risk tolerant with his
Red
passing.
dragon.
I am not. I do not take. I mitigate risk in the
Green
Charleston,
dragon.
but that doesn't take away from my assertiveness when playing the
3
game.
bamboos.
The assertiveness is more about claiming discards in the pick and discard phase of the game. The defense side
Green
is a
dragon.
little different. I think defensive play is more about personality, a player's
West wind.
personality, aside from the
Green dragon.
push-fold judgment. With push-fold judgment, the playing styles come into play.
1 bamboo.
But I think the level of defense is based on personality, whether or not
7
someone
characters.
is competitive or a little more passive. Okay, we could have a pure hand here.
West wind. Six bamboos. 9 dots. 5 bamboos.
We're going to Kong.
Kong.
And now we're ready to win on a pure hand with a 5 crack.
dots. Kong. 8 bamboos.
We might see a 5 crack come out of this player's hand on the left. They're playing little odds. Oh, we have a quint at the table.
3 characters.
All right, no 5 cracks are out yet. Oh, they got Mah Jongg. Okay, so I thought they were playing little odds. Okay, so outcome, loss. We were ready to win at, oh shoot, I forgot to see, 41 tiles, was it? Ready to win. Darn it. Okay. All right, now here's 3, 4, 5, 6, pung, pung, kong, kong. We were ready on a 5 crack and our tile was in the wall. And we had no one using the 5 crack. Oh, bummer. Ready on a pure hand, dang it. Okay, so we're going to play now. I'm just gonna play like myself. Okay, so I saw Kathleen, it was 53 tiles remaining. Ready at 53 tiles. Yep, so we had 2 front runners at the table. Okay, so now we have a red dragon pair and a pair of flowers. I would keep the dragon and the wind. There's that news dragon hand. And then I would probably, with a red dragon, I'd probably keep the BAMs and the 4 crack for like numbers, or maybe the run with dragons, and then pass these tiles. 2, 3, 9. All right, so I saw your comment there, Kathleen, about Sambino. He's aware of the risk and makes the passes to tempt the other players to break up what they have for their hand. I understand that thought process, but I disagree with it. I think it's reckless personally, because it could do the opposite. It could actually build their hand, and I don't think the risk is worth it, in my opinion. I think it's risky. But everyone has their own prerogative of playing style. It's not the way I play. I typically don't. I typically mitigate the risk in my passes. Okay, now with wins, dragons, we have like, I think I would focus on like numbers, but then we have 6, 7, 1 dot, like numbers with 4s or 8s. Let's see here. All right. Oh, that's a little bit risky. Well, look what we got. Oh my goodness. 4 and an 8. And you know, I think with a 4, 8, 8, let's see, we don't have 3 like numbers. So I would probably let the dragons go. And then I would probably break up the red, and I would pick a 4 or an 8. I think what I would do here is pass the 4. And then I would probably do the dragon, because if we do get a 2 or a 6, we could do the dragon hand. We'd have to throw away a pair though here. Okay, so now we have a 4 crack, 4, 8 pung. Now, no regrets. We're not doing regrets here. Let's see. I would pass like numbers. I see your comment there, Kathleen. We want to keep going. I would pass like numbers if I had to pass 3 and I didn't want to break up a pair. I agree. Sometimes I risk passing like numbers if I have a strong hand with multiples. Okay, so now let's see. 4, west, flowers, dragon. Oh, we have 8s. We have a pung of 4s. We're going to the left. News. We have a gap. I'm letting the 4 go. Like numbers with 8s and news. No gaps. Okay, we keep getting that west. Oh, part of me is wondering if we could try for a quint, but we have no jokers. Okay, that's kind of more risk than I want to take. I'm wondering though if we can maybe get the 4 back. Maybe. Okay, 6 crack. We still have a gap, no 2. No 2, but we do have tiles we can pass. So we're playing adaptive. I wouldn't pick a hand yet. Like numbers with 8s and news looks pretty good. Okay, we did get a 4 and an 8. So now we have 2 multiples with 8s. Okay, so it looks like somebody left the table. I would pass 3. Since we have no 2, I would let the 6 go. And since we have 2 8s, I would probably let the 4s go. We did get the 4 back, but we also now have an 8 dot. So now we could maybe play the first like number hand. So we're kind of in between 4s or 8s.
9 dots. 2 characters.
Okay, so I'm not going to document the rest of these.
5 characters.
We had tough beats on those hands. Okay, no, we're not keeping that.
2 bamboos.
Okay, I'm gonna
6
step away
dots.
super quick. I'll be right back.
5 bamboos. 9 characters. 4 characters. 2 characters. 2 bamboos. 7 dots.
Okay, I'm here. Sorry, I had to go close the back door lest I get in trouble with the hubby. I had the door open so that Riley could go out, but bees come in. Okay.
7 dots.
Kathleen says, I would also
8
say
dots.
that it's since Sambino does not really put himself forward as a teacher, but
7
rather as a
bamboos.
risk-taking player. It is
7
very
bamboos.
it is very different situation when he's playing competitively.
South wind.
Oh. I've watched him play
9
competitively and would advise
Red
advise him otherwise on several things that I've observed, but
7 bamboos.
it would just depend on it really. I mean, it's everybody's prerogative to play the way they want to. It's a game,
6 dots.
and we can all play the way we want to,
9
whether we're playing
bamboos.
competitively or not. However, sometimes
4 dots.
there are stakes in the game, and there's also
5 dots. 8 dots.
oh yeah, that's not our tile. We're ready to Kong 8 cracker 8 bam.
3
Since we're almost at
bamboos.
news, I would play differently now though. I would hold the 4 crack. Oh, 4 crack nobody wanted.
4 characters.
I was thinking since now we have 3 flowers,
6
we could
dots.
play the first one, the first like number
4
hand.
dots.
Let's just see what we get. We're in between the
3
first like number
characters.
hand and the news hand, the third one. There's an 8 crack.
4 characters.
Well, now we're set on that news hand.
5 dots. 5 characters. 7 characters.
We don't need an east. We're in between. I want to hold on to our flowers for a
East
little
wind.
while. We're in the middle of the game.
9 characters.
I would say we're a front runner.
9 bamboos.
We have 2 discards
2 dots.
if we're playing news, and we have 3 discards if we're playing with flowers. No, 4.
Red dragon.
We're closer to the flower hand. Let's see. We're closer to the
7
news hand,
dots.
but it looks like somebody else is playing wins. So
7 characters.
we may not see the south. And my guess is somebody is playing
7
news
dots.
concealed. So they may have the
6
souths. There's
characters.
1 south out. So there's
5
some
characters.
risk here with that south.
4 bamboos.
If an 8 goes down, if an 8 dot goes down, we're going to have to make a decision.
North wind.
Okay, that's fine. There was a hesitation there. Okay, so you know what I think I would do here is let the winds go. I think somebody is playing
East wind.
news concealed of some kind, and
6
they
dots.
may have the souths. I don't want to risk our south. So
7
we're going to
characters.
play like numbers with 8s and flowers.
2 bamboos.
There we go, flower. Now we're in the
North
same
wind.
position that we were in before. Now we have just 1 discard.
9 characters. 5 characters. 3 characters. 5 dots.
Okay, we need to swap this west out. There are none out.
4 characters.
So we're still in the middle game. In this next pick, we'll be in the end game. So we need to swap it
West
out.
wind.
There we go. There's a west. Okay, a little bit of a hesitation there. It could have been me.
9 bamboos.
Okay,
West
We
wind.
are ready on a double weight. Any
North
8.
wind.
Any 8 and we can declare Mahjong.
6 bamboos.
Any 8.
Seven characters.
There are 2 8 dots out. Oh, there we go. Mahjong. Woohoo! It feels good to win at least once. Like numbers with 8s. Oh, thank you, Marilyn. All right, let's see what everyone was doing. 1, 2, 3 Kongs. Over here, news with dragons could not get flowers, it looks like. 3, 4, 5, 6 dragon, 1 away, or they have a discard. One away from ready. Okay, I think this will probably be our last hand for this great Zag. Thank you, Kathleen. Yeah, that south, somebody did have wins. I forgot to slow down and look, but I think somebody who had the wins, I forgot now. I'm a little distracted because I am itchy and scratchy big time right now. Okay, we have a pair of 8s and a pair of 5s. Yeah, I would try to use them both. 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8 of some kind. I don't think we would use that dragon. So this is an interesting situation because we have multiples, but we have a predominant pattern of 1, 2, 3. I would go with the multiples, even though there's a gap. So let's break up the 2, 3 here. So we are passing technically 1 of each suit. And then in this next one, we'll break up the 2s. So we're gathering 5 through 8, maybe, yeah, 5 through 8 probably. An ideal tile for us would be a 7 bam. It's much easier playing my natural style, yes. Yep, yeah, absolutely. It's freeing, actually. Playing with an adaptive style is freeing. You have to be very patient. You have to be forward thinking. You have to see where the hand can go. We're going to break up the 2s. And I think I would pass probably a 5. Let's see here. I think what I would do though here is do 2 dot with a 3 bam. Okay. Oh, thank you, Carol. Well, the Charleston is a big part of the game. Big part of the game. Okay, let's see. We do have an 8 crack there, but with a 5 crack, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right now, we're playing a gap hand. Here's a 5 bam. 5, 6, 5, 6, 8. That's not quite functional. It's not gelling at the moment. A 1 crack 8 is not going to go together. So even though it's 1 suit, it's not a big deal. I probably should have kept the 2 and passed the 8. That would have been better. Okay, now here we have a 6. Okay, so this changes things a little bit. There's a 6, 8. We do have a 2 crack. 2, 4, 6, 8 is kind of coming in a little bit. We have a gap though, no 4. But we're going to keep it. We're going to keep it flexible. We're gonna stay adaptive. We may switch to 2, 4, 6, 8. I would still like to get a 7 bam, but it would actually be better to get a 4 crack now. Okay, so we have an 8 dot. So that might change things a little bit. Let's see, 8 dot, 8 dot, 8 bam. I'm thinking about the concealed hand under 2, 4, 6, 8, but we have no flowers. No flowers, so I definitely would not even think about doing that. 5, 6, 7, 8. We could maybe play the dragon hand. 5, 6, 6. We have gaps no matter how we look at it. Let's let the 2 crack go. Without a 4 crack, the 2 is worthless or useless, I should say. Okay, we have an 8 crack. We can pass these. So we're playing a gap hand where we need a 7 bam either way. If we get a 7 bam, I think we could maybe try for the 5th hand down under consecutive run. But we could also play pung, pung, kong, kong, 5, 6, 7, 8, needing a 7 bam still. I like those hands of least resistance though, because you can use jokers. There's a 7 bam. Oh, patience. Patience is a virtue. Okay, we can pass 2 tiles. Okay, my bangs are messed up here. Hi, Carol, welcome. Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8, dragon. 5, 6, 7, 8, pung, pung, kong, kong, 2 ways. Second hand from the bottom. We have 2 discards. We're in between until we pick a hand. I would say we're a contender, but until we pick a hand, once we pick a hand, we could jump up to front runner, I think. Oh, thank you, Kathleen. I appreciate that feedback.
4 bamboos.
So 5, 6, 7, 8, no gaps.
West wind.
But until we pick a hand, I'd say we need to be conservative. Okay, that's the kicker right
8
there.
characters.
5, 6, 7, 8, pung, pung, kong, kong, and 1 suit.
2 bamboos.
We may be able to do the dragon hand. I would probably
West
play
wind.
that pung, pung, the hand of least resistance, second hand from the bottom on the
9
left.
bamboos.
Oh, no, we're not keeping that.
Flower.
Let's see here.
8 bamboos.
I would Kong. We're gonna. This is a shark playing right now. I would let the dragon go now. Pung, pung, kong, kong.
Green dragon.
We're gonna expedite. We could pung 5, pung 6. We need 1 good pick for the 7. So we have a pure Kong there and only 1 dragon.
1 bamboo.
So I let the dragon go. Some people might think, oh, but I have the pair 5,
2
6
bamboos.
in hand. But the dragon was super weak and that needed to be a Kong. That's why I decided to play the
3
hand of least
characters.
resistance. Because even though we have a
3
weakness with our
characters.
7, we can expedite with 5, 6, pung, pung.
1
And then
dot.
1 good pick and we'll be set. If we can get a 7 bam or a joker, we'll be ready to Kong. And we have joker bait. So I'd say that bumped us up to front runner.
Flower.
So I'd say we are front runner now. So
4
we have
dots.
1 discard plus joker bait. And the joker bait is an efficient tile. So we may
4
have
dots.
a good chance to get a joker
2
out of these
characters.
5. So we'll have to just watch the discards and see what happens.
9
We want to try to
characters.
get it to 60 tiles, which is the sweet spot
3 dots.
for joker bait. And that is a hit or miss tactic. Well, really, any discard
7
strategy
characters.
or tactic is hit or miss. You
7
really have to be
dots.
mindful of what's happening at the table. Timing is key. And there are a lot of unknowns. Like right now,
Green dragon.
there are no exposures. So it's really difficult to see what people are
1
playing.
bamboo.
Let's see, I see no 5s out
2
right
dots.
now. So my thought is maybe someone is playing like numbers with
1
5s.
bamboo.
Somebody could be playing little odds. I see a lot of 1s though.
4 bamboo.
I don't see 1 cracks though. And I don't see any red dragons either.
6 dots.
Hi, Gretchen, welcome. Good to have you here. We're playing hand of least resistance,
4
second hand from the
bamboos.
bottom under consecutive run. Pung, pung, kong, kong. We're ready to pung. We can't do much with our 7 bam. That's our
7
weakness.
bamboos.
Oh, there's our tile. So now we won't be able to do a pure hand. That's okay. We can use jokers here.
1 character.
So 66
2
tiles.
characters.
In 2 picks, we'll let the 5 go.
2 dots.
maybe one pick. Look, we're at 64 tiles after this next pick.
South wind.
Okay.
8 characters.
Okay, 6 crack. Okay, so the
6
green dragon,
characters.
yes, we were playing maybe, we were in between the 5th hand down with dragons
Dragon.
versus the hand of least resistance. And the 8 bam went down and I decided to
5
Kong.
bamboos.
Okay, that is a pung for us.
Pung.
And of course, now everybody knows what we're
9
playing,
dots.
which is fine by me. Okay, so then I'm just trying to think about my thought process there. The dragon was weak, super weak. Incidentally, somebody is playing
7
dragons.
bamboos.
There's only one dragon out. So my guess, okay, we're going to need another joker, which is fine. Oh, I should have thrown that 5 crack.
6 bamboos.
Okay, we're going to pung.
Pung.
All right, now we're going to let the dragon or the 5 crack go.
5 characters.
Oh, no hesitation. So yeah, no power.
Flower.
So that was a miss on that joker bait. So we need another joker. There's still one more 7
character.
bam, but we cannot be disqualified. Everyone knows we need a 7 bam.
4 bamboos.
We just need jokers at this point. Oh, flower.
Flower. Red dragon.
Now the dragons are coming out.
North wind.
Okay, we need a joker. And it would be ideal to get a
2
joker.
dots.
Well, no, it would be really awesome actually to get a 7 bam, because I don't know who
Red
would throw a
dragon.
7 bam. Although someone might
Flower.
think we're not ready because we didn't claim the one just thrown a bit ago. These were
South
thrown
wind.
7 bam, 2 are out.
1 bamboo.
It'll show who's playing to win.
6 dots.
Right now, we're the only one with exposures. Look at this. Yikes.
Eight characters. Eight dots.
I'm trying to figure out what people could be playing
Hmm.
here. Oh, here we go. Now we get some intel here.
5 characters.
Okay, so that clearly, no. Oh, there it is. Okay,
5
so now
characters.
we need a joker. We need a joker. And I'd say our
9
chances are
characters.
pretty good to get a joker somewhere, whether it be in the wall or through an exchange. We'll see.
North wind.
Right now, only one joker is visible.
7 characters.
So there it is. Mahjong. Woohoo! Handle least resistance. That's a great, I guess it's a shape. Pung, pung, kong, kong, 2 pungs, 2 kongs. We had a gap for a while and then our tiles went down. We weren't ready to call. Jokers come in handy, especially with the hand of least resistance. Here we have the first odd hand. Over here, we have a 3, 6, 9 hand. It looks like, or like numbers with 3s and news, I would say. And then over here, they're doing 5, 6, 7, 8 dragon. 5th hand down. All right, I am going to, oh, thank you, Kathleen. Thank you, Sue. All right, I am going to quickly share my screen because I just want to share about the new live stream that we have on Fridays, Friday afternoons for now. It might change. I'm not sure yet. I'm kind of leaning towards I don't know. I've tried moving the Friday live streams before 6, and it seems like 6 to 8 for Simply Social has always been the best time for most people on Friday nights. So I put this newest live stream on Fridays from 3 to 5. So let me share my screen. Okay, so on my website, let me go on top here. Okay, on my website, if you go to events and then click under events, click Let's Play live streams, you'll see the Let's Play live streams. We have Nitty-Gritty Basics and Nitty-Gritty Prime Time on Mondays, double header. It's a double header. Nitty-Gritty Basics is from 1 to 3. Nitty-Gritty Prime Time is from, oh, I see a typo there. It's from 4 to 6. So I need to update that. 4 to 6, 2 2-hour live streams. And we dig into nitty-gritty on those live streams. We talk about, like today, that's what we're doing here. Nitty-gritty, no socialization. It's all about the game and strategy and skills. And incidentally, if you want to learn more, you click Learn More, and you'll learn more about that particular live stream. So the American Mah Jongg Skills and Strategies Matrix, this has all the recurring topics that we do on the Nitty-Gritty double headers. Next week, we're going to be doing Test Your Instincts for the Nitty-Gritty Basics, and we're going to play Big Hands for Nitty-Gritty Prime Time. And then you can visit that on your own to see the recurring topics. Then on Wednesdays, we have the members only Let's Play live streams. These are for channel members who support MAHJLIFE. If you want to do that, you can click Learn More. And here is all about channel membership. And you basically pay a monthly amount, and it goes to support MAHJLIFE and everything I do for the community. So I appreciate your support. Woohoo! Let me just give you a quick shout out there to all of our channel members. Okay, so that's members only, and there are lots of perks there, so you can look at that if you click Learn More. Then we have the new one. This is the one that I really wanted to highlight, Beat the Pro. Beat the Pro is on Fridays from 3 to 5, and basically what you're going to do is you're going to play at the table with me or another pro, another instructor, let's say, and you're going to try to beat the pro. And if you do, then you'll be added to the winner's circle for Beat the Pro. We already have one winner. And all the winners of Beat the Pro for a given year will be invited. Oops, you got to register in advance, by the way. So that's what that register me is. But if you click, but wait, there's more. This is where you can find information on the invitational. This is an annual invitational virtual mini tournament that will be held in January. And the winners, all the winners of Beat the Pro will be invited. And the winner of the invitational will be the champion for the season. And there will be 5 runners up. So the top 6 placements. Then every 4 years, we're going to do a quarter quell. And that will be an invitational for all the invitational players. And they will play against each other to find out who is the victor. And then we'll have runners up. And I hope to have another announcement later about what we're going to do to celebrate the victors and runners up for the quarter quell. Then the last live stream that we have is after the Beat the Pro, which is Simply Social. And that's when we play on Fridays from 6 to 8, and we let our hair down. We chat about life and Mahjong, and we play the game with commentary as well. So those are the live streams. And I just wanted to make sure you're aware of it. Again, to access that, just go to events and click Let's Play live streams, and you'll get to this page where you can see the details on each one of them. So I hope that you'll decide to join us in these live streams. They're a lot of fun, and it's a great way to build community, but also build your skills and refine your playing style. Whether you're a stingray, a dolphin, an orca, or a shark. And if you missed all that, watch the repost so you can catch up. Does anybody have any questions? Every how many years? 4. That's intentional at the moment. I know it seems like a long time, but I think that's what's going to make it special. Oh, you're welcome, Linda. Thank you for being here. All right. If we don't have any questions, I'll go ahead and sign off. You can always join me on Facebook, and we can carry on conversation there, or you can send me an email directly. My email is in the video description. You could also just write comments under the video. Yes, thanks everyone for coming. I appreciate you, and you, and you, and you. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, consider subscribing. Click the little gray bell if you do. That way you'll get notification for when I post new videos, and you won't miss an opportunity to learn a new strategy or pick up an insight to the game that could give you an advantage at the table. Between now and the next video, may all your picks be keepers.